Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's podcast, I'm joined by sophomore of the Minnesota State hockey team, Ryan Sandelin. Ryan, welcome to the podcast, and how's everything going?
Thanks for having me on. Things are going good. We're preparing for a big week. We got Bowling Green this week, so probably our biggest series so far of the year. So we're kind of preparing and getting ready for that. But things are going well on our end. So yeah, that's where things are at with us.
Yeah, and obviously this college hockey season has been very much different than to other seasons before. What are some challenges you have faced preparing for this year or playing this year, and how have you tried to overcome some of those challenges?
I'd say the biggest thing is just staying patient. I mean, we've had our fair share of COVID run-ins, and whether it's us or the other team, so you just got to be ready to stay on your toes, and you got to be able to overcome a little bit of adversity. Whether you don't get to play any games that weekend, you always got to keep preparing like you're going to be playing on the weekend, regardless of what's going on. So that's probably been the biggest thing. You just got to stay on your toes every single day. You got to prepare like you're going into the weekend with a couple of games, and then once the puck drops, everything it's just hockey at that point.
Yeah, and there's obviously been a lot of schedule changes that have happened throughout the year. How do you stay mentally prepared for all those schedule changes, and what's the key for maintaining flexibility for this season?
I think our coaching staff does a great job. They prepare us to be as ready as possible for whatever goes on. They're really transparent with what's going on, whether we're playing or not, or the COVID situation with either our team or other teams if they're having issues. And they just do a really good job of making sure we're staying on our details and staying on things that make us successful. Because like you said, you just got to be flexible in these times. So they do a great job of preparing us and making sure we're ready to go when we finally get to drop the puck on the weekend.
Yeah, and 3-on-3 overtime has also been introduced to college hockey this year. What's that like, being an offensive player and having more space on the ice and having more chances to score goals?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can open the ice up a little bit, that's obviously a, a big piece for offensive players, especially skilled, fast players. I mean, you want to have as much time and space with the puck as possible. So I think it's been a long time coming for them introducing the 3-on-3 as the primary overtime, and I'm glad they finally ended up making that switch. And hopefully we don't have to play too many overtime games, but I mean, if we do, I think I like our chances. We got a lot of good players up front that can push the pace and make some plays in 3-on-3. So
Yeah, no, I love it too, especially since I don't like ties, and I think 3-on-3 overtime obviously eliminates the chances of a tie much higher than 4-on-4 overtime. But also, I think it shows the defensive abilities of players as well, because if you make one little defensive mistake, it can cause an odd man rush, which I think is something that people don't realize about the 3-on-3 overtime.
yeah, for sure, it's all about positioning. I mean, you got to stay on the right side of the puck all the time, and as much as you want to go out and get that goal, you don't want to be out there when the other team puts one in if they get a chance. So it's obviously a double-edged sword. You want to be out there and you want to be creating chances as much as you can, but you also got to be good on the defensive side of the puck too. So I think it brings out the best in everybody, forwards and defense and goalies. It's awesome for goalies to see a bunch of pucks in overtime. So it's been a great addition so far this year. I think we've only had one game go to overtime, but it was up and down, back and forth, so it was awesome.
Yeah, and you also haven't played in front of any fans this year. Has that been an adjustment for yourself, not having that crowd noise?
Um, it's different. I think the most noticeable part is when you come out for the ups, but like I said, when the puck drops, it's just kind of hockey again. You're more focused on the task at hand and the team you're playing against and your job on the ice more than anything. But obviously, having the fans is a huge piece. I mean, for us, we get pretty good attendance here at MSU. So, I mean, we love to have that home ice advantage. The fans and the students are a big piece of why we're so successful. And hopefully we can get some fans soon. I think our parents are going to be able to come for the first time this weekend. So that's really exciting for us to have people in the building that aren't working at the game. But yeah, it's just hockey once the puck drops. So
Yeah, definitely. Now, what have you improved on the most since last year?
I think just physical conditioning was a big piece for me this summer that I worked on. Just foot speed, and then I'd say my defensive side of my game has taken a big jump. So that's always, like I said about the 3-on-3, you want to be on the right side of the puck all the time. And as much as you want to go out and get offense, I think defense is that's what's going to win you championships at the end of the day. So if you can be really good on the defensive side of the puck, then that's a huge asset to have if you can play at both ends of the rink. So I've just been focusing on that and making sure I'm good at my own end before creating anything else. So.
Yeah, how was your off season this year? Because I know a lot of players, gyms were closed and not a lot of ice time as well. How did you adjust to some of those changes, and how was your off season as a whole?
Initially, we weren't really skating much at all, but up in Duluth, we had a pretty good setup. We had a lot of professional guys, college, junior guys that we all skated like 3 times a week. We were doing skills and just playing like 4-on-4 up and down the rink. So that was really good. But yeah, it was definitely different. You could only go into the gym at certain times. I was fortunate enough to be able to work out at UMD's facility, so I got the perks of that. I know other people weren't as fortunate as I was, but it was good. I got to work out with a bunch of professional hockey guys. Dylan Sandberg was one. He Me and him were pretty much workout partners all summer, so it was good. We got to push each other and see how far we could go and see our potential grow a little bit in the weight room. And then on the ice, like I said, we had a good group of like 20 or 30 guys out just pushing the pace, playing pickup games and working on skills. So it was a really productive summer. Usually we're down here at MSU for 6 weeks, so it was different adjusting to being at home for the whole summer, but I really liked it.
Talk about what it's like playing in the WCHA and just the competition you face every night, because it's a little bit of a different conference compared to other college hockey conferences I've noticed.
Yeah, yeah. WCHA is a great league. I think every night's a battle. Teams bring different they bring a different philosophy to the game every night, and it's always a battle. It's tough to go in and win 2 games on a weekend, just like any other college hockey conference. It's hard to go in and sweep somebody, whether it's home or on the road. But it's hard nosed hockey. It's you got to bring your blue collar work ethic and your lunch pail to the rink every day, because teams are going to bring their best, especially against us, since we're fortunate enough to be ranked so high right now. Teams are bringing their best on us, and you got to be prepared to do that every single night. So.
Yeah, talk a little bit. What's it like being a ranked team, and how do you deal with all the pressure of being a ranked team, and how do you just try to stay focused on the task at hand?
Yeah, I think our coaching staff does a great job. They preach we just got to worry about ourselves. We know we're going to get every team's best that we play, so I think they do a great job of just setting the game plan and then letting us go out and execute. And I think that's just the biggest piece. As long as we follow the game plan that they give us and that they lay out for us, I think we're in good shape. But yeah, they do a great job of just keeping us on track, not letting us look too much at the polls or anything like that. They just do a good job keeping us humble and grateful that we're able to just get to go out and compete right now. So.
How do the freshmen look like in your eyes, and how have you helped their transition into college hockey this year, especially since this is a year that you've never experienced before?
Yeah, they look great. They're a huge part of this team, and usually, like I said, we have guys come down for 6 weeks in the summer, so that's usually the time we get to meet them. So we didn't get that obviously this summer, so it kind of took a little extra time to just get them integrated with everybody. But now that we're a full semester in, it's been great. They're all different in their own way, but they all fit in just perfect, and they're doing a great job. They're working hard every day. They're doing their part to make the team successful, and we really enjoy having them.
Now, being a sophomore on the team, what type of leadership do you want to bring, and what did you learn from past leaders that have helped your leadership skills today?
Um, I think for me as a sophomore, just bring energy every single day. That's bring attitude, good attitude every single day. That's something just personally that I like to bring. That's the one thing you can control every single day when you come to the rink is have a good attitude. So I think just setting the tone that way, bring good energy, attitude, effort, not giving up on little plays in practice, always finishing the drill. And then I think some guys that really set the tone for me last year was Nick Rivera, captain, and Mark Michaelis they were great leaders for us. And obviously they're not here this year, but they've done a great job of just teaching their leadership onto the seniors we have now. They do a great job of setting the tone for us right now. So they were really good to learn from and be around last year. And I'm really grateful for having that experience being around them.
You lost to Bemidji State a few nights ago. Talk about that game and what did you take away from it?
Um, we learned a lot. Can't get complacent with our game. But I thought we played pretty well for the most part. We had some other guys step in. Dryden Mckay didn't play for us, and I actually didn't end up playing in that game. But it was a good game. But Midgie's a good team, and I think we learned a lot that we can't take nights off, especially in the WCHA. Teams are gonna, like I said, teams are gonna bring their best. So I think we just learned a lot about ourselves, and it was a good reset for us going into a huge week for playing Bowling Green. So it's something to learn from and something to move on, and now we can look forward to this week.
Now, I want to start off talking about the beginning of your hockey career. You're from Minnesota. How did you start playing hockey and falling in love with the sport, especially in an area like Minnesota where hockey is everything?
Yeah, my dad was a pretty integral piece of me picking up a stick. He got me out skating when I was 3, 4 years old, and all I've done since then is watch hockey, play hockey, read about hockey, and pretty much it. I mean, I spent pretty much my whole younger life just hanging around the rink, and that's really all I know. So I owe a lot to my dad, my mom. My dad's busy. He's a coach up at UMD, so he he's busy all the time. And my mom kind of raised me a lot of the way. So they were both just huge pieces of me going to the rink, being around the rink, and just loving the game. So
Now, who was your favorite player growing up?
Crosby for sure. I love watching him play. Still watching pretty much every game he plays if I'm not on the rink that night. So can always learn so much from him. He's a great leader and obviously one of the best players to ever lace up the skates. So I fell in love with his game growing up and haven't turned away from that since.
I don't know if you saw this, but his attempted goal he tried to score last night, the Michigan. What was your thoughts on that?
Oh, if he would have pulled that off, I would have lost my mind. That might have been the coolest goal ever. He went to the backhand with it too. So I mean, he's done it before in junior. So I I didn't think he would ever try that in a game, especially in the NHL. He just seems like he's a pretty straightforward guy and makes plays and makes things happen, and then posted up behind the net. And I couldn't believe what I saw. I thought he put it in. It's too bad he didn't.
Yeah, that would have broke the internet if you got that goal.
Oh, for sure.
Now, like you just mentioned, your dad is a college hockey coach with Minnesota Duluth. What's it like growing up with the coach, and what's your relationship like with your dad when it comes to your hockey development?
He's been awesome. He's someone I can always bounce things off of. If I'm having a rough week or having a good week too, he's always there to either pick me up or watch some of my shifts and just teach me small things that I can get better at or small things that I need to keep doing to stay successful. And he's been around so many smart people in the game that, I mean, when he's giving advice, it's pretty hard not to listen. So I think just having him in the house and just as a resource is bar none. I mean, you can't really ask for much more as a young kid growing up playing hockey. So even to this day, I mean, I'm in college. He's coaching college. He'll always be my number one fan. He'll always be there to pick me up if I'm not doing things well, and he'll always be there first in line to cheer me on if things are going well. So he's a great mentor for me, and I couldn't thank him enough for everything he's done for me to this point.
Now, before you played for Minnesota State, you played for your high school in Minnesota. Talk about your experience there.
Uh, I loved high school hockey. Can't say enough about playing high school hockey in Minnesota. It's all the kids you grow up with, and you just grow up. You don't even worry about playing college hockey. All you want to do when you're growing up playing peewees and bantams is you just want to be on the high school team and hopefully one day make the state tournament. And was fortunate to make 3 in my career and win 2 of them. So that was a pretty special experience. I don't think I'd ever trade that for anything in the world. And I still talk to all those guys on both of those teams regularly. They're like my best friends. And I really cherish the memories and the friendships that I have from those days. And the coaches, they taught me so much just about loving the game and just coming to the rink and having a good attitude. And I wouldn't trade any of that for the world.
Yeah, what's it like being a hockey player in that Minnesota high school hockey scene? Because I'm from the East Coast and it's something that people up here really just don't get. It's just crazy watching some of the YouTube clips and just how packed the arena can get, especially for the state tournament.
Yeah, it's a whole different atmosphere. You play in front of your hometown fans all year. Whether you have a big rink, small rink, you're not playing in front of a ton of people, and then you come out and step on an NHL rink and you're playing in front of 10,000 people, or at least in our case for the smaller schools it was 10,000. But some of those kids play against they're playing against other big schools and they get 20,000 people a night. So I think you step out and you kind of get like a glimpse of what it's like to play professional hockey. But at the same time, you're also playing that with your best friends, and you don't even realize it when you're in the moment. You're just playing hockey at that point. But it's something, like I said, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's an experience. Play whether you play high school hockey, watch high school hockey, if you can somehow find a way to get tickets to come to the state tournament, it's a bucket list item, I think, for any hockey fan, because it's something really special, and the people that get to be a part of it, they cherish those memories till it's over. So
Was it weird talking to people who aren't from Minnesota just about that high school hockey scene? Because, like I mentioned before, being from the East Coast, you just don't get it. And I know people in Europe or Canada probably don't get it as well.
yeah, they like to think it's not a big deal, but to us, that's kind of how you grow up. It's like religion almost. You March rolls around and all you want to do is watch the state tournament and be around the state tournament. So I think when I was playing junior, guys were always giving me a hard time because I thought it was the coolest thing ever. But I think you can't say anything about it unless you lived it or you've been there to experience it. And luckily, I was able to experience it and play in it. So for me, that's like the coolest thing ever. I know there's guys that play pro hockey that they wouldn't even trade their Stanley Cup rings for state championships if they could. So the fact that I was able to go and play in those tournaments and end up winning two is something I'll take with me for the rest of my life.
You then played in the Bchl for Penticton. How did you get the opportunity to play with that organization and go to British Columbia?
So they reached out to me after my high school season. I had been traded in the USHL, so they reached out to me and wanted to see if I'd come take a visit. So I decided why not and check it out. And I went out there and I just couldn't say a bad thing about it. So it was obviously a far away from home. I had never been that far away from home in my life, but their coaching staff and their organization did a really good job of making me feel like I was at home. And I was lucky enough to be blessed with a great billet family, and they took me in like one of their own. And that's kind of how I went there. And I wouldn't trade that again. I wouldn't trade that again for the world. The friendships that I made there with my billet family and all the guys that I played with through my time there was second to none. I'm really glad I decided to make that decision to go out there.
Now, how did your time in the BCHL help prepare you for college hockey?
Just playing games on the weekends, getting used to practicing during the week, and just preparing for two games on the weekend against the same team was really beneficial. The coaches there were really hard on us. They demanded success and excellence out of us, so they wanted us to get they wanted to get their very best out of us, and they did a really good job of just making sure we were crossing T's, dotting I's, that sort of thing, and just staying on details. And they were really good about just pushing us and pulling back and making sure we were developing certain things that in our game that needed to be developed. And they were really good about showing clips, video, all that stuff. It was really ran like a professional organization. They do such a great job of just developing guys. So I'm really fortunate I was able to play there for 2 years.
Now, talk about your recruiting process and why did you choose to go to Minnesota State?
So they recruited me my junior year of high school and came down on a visit, and I was honestly shocked. I'd never been down to Mankato in my life before. Pretty much just stayed in the northern half of Minnesota my whole life. So I'd never been down here, and I was honestly shocked when I got down here. Everything was brand new. Campus was relatively brand new. The rink, locker room, everything was great. It was awesome, and the coaching staff really made me feel like I was at home, and they were going to do everything they could to make me a better player in the 4 years that I was here, and helped develop me through junior and high school. So they just really made it feel like it was a second family, and their track record spoke for itself. They're one of the best teams every single year in college hockey. So I wanted to be a part of a winning culture, and I wanted to be a part of something special, and hopefully we can bring a national championship, because that's the reason I came here. I want to win a national championship, and I think that's one thing that this program strives for every single day. And like I said, they're a winning culture, and you want to be a part of something special at the end of the day. So they really made me feel like I could be a part of something like that.
Yeah, and talk about the coaching staff at Mankato and how have they helped you for your hockey development so far in your first 2 years in college hockey?
Yeah, they've been great. Every day they're picking up on things I need to work on, or things I could do better, things I'm doing well. And like I said, they're really vocal. They're black and white. They want to see us succeed, and they want to see us grow as people and as guys on the ice. So I think every single day, like I said, they demand excellence. They demand our very best every single time we lace up the skates. So they just full on prepare us to be at our best all the time. And I think if everybody's bringing their best every single day, then you're going to see growth and development out of everybody. And I think so far through the 2 years that's happened. So
Now, what was the biggest adjustment you had to make to college hockey? Was it the mental side of the game, making quicker decisions with the puck, or was it more just the physicality playing against players that were 4 years older than you were at the time?
I think the speed of the game was probably the biggest adjustment for me. I don't think I'm the fastest player out there, but I like to think I think the game pretty well. So just making quicker decisions, having your head on a swivel, knowing where other guys are on the rink is still something I'm adjusting to get better at. And the speed is obviously a huge jump. Every single level you go up, there's going to be a jump in speed, and there's guys that are stronger, faster, older. So I think that was probably the biggest thing. But our strength and conditioning coach does a great job of getting us in shape and getting us faster, stronger, more ready to go to battle every single weekend. Our coaching staff does a great job of showing us video and going over things we need to work on, or just small details in our game where we can skate faster, think faster, play the game faster. So
Yeah, and in your first year with Mankato, you beat Michigan Tech in the first round of the WCHA playoffs. Talk about that series and what did you take away from it, having it being your first playoff series in college hockey?
definitely ramp up in physicality. Everybody's playing for their season. So I think I got a good taste of playoff hockey up in the BCHL. 7-game series was definitely something to draw on for experience like that. But obviously in college hockey, it's only a 3-game shot. So it's first to two. So you got to be ready to go from the minute the puck drops on Friday night. You can't take any nights off. And the speed, physicality, pace of the game is just so much more amplified than the regular season. But it was really fun to be able to get to play playoff hockey, at least for one series, until COVID shut everything down.
Yeah, you were supposed to play in the next round before everything did get shut down. How did you find out, and what was your team's reaction to that news, knowing you played your final game of the season?
Well, we kind of saw everything happen with the NBA, so we were kind of just waiting on news, and then we ended up having a meeting, and the coaches broke the news to us, and it was pretty emotional for all the seniors. We felt pretty bad for them because they had done a good job getting the program where it is today, and they didn't even get a chance to go out and try and end on a high note. So it was pretty emotional for those guys. But yeah, it was definitely a sad day. I'll remember that day for the rest of my life, because it was pretty heartbreaking to see their reaction to their college careers being over.
Now you get to play with Dryden Mckay, who's one of the top goalies in college hockey. What's it like playing with him, and what's he like as a teammate, both on and off the ice?
Yeah, he's a great guy. I can't say enough great things about him. He works hard. He brings a great attitude every single day, and obviously his play speaks for itself. He's the best goalie in college hockey. So anytime you get to square off against that in practice, that's going to make everybody better. And it's great to go out and get to compete with and against him. He's a true competitor, and he brings out the best in everybody on our team. So he's just a great guy to have in our locker room, and we're really fortunate to be able to put him between the pipes almost every night. So.
We're now in the non-hockey segment of the podcast where I ask you some non-hockey questions. My first one is, what music do you like to listen to before a game?
I like to keep it pretty strict with EDM. I like Avicii, Martin Garrix type of stuff like that. But kind of just depends on the mood I'm in. If I feel like I need some rock and roll to get me going, I'll go with that. Maybe a little rap. I'm not too picky, but I like to stick with the EDM side of things. So,
What's your biggest pet peeve?
biggest pet peeve. I'd have to say people saying they're going to do one thing and then not following through with that. Whether that's just the boys getting online, playing Xbox, saying they're going to get on and not get on, or just anything like that, probably.
Now, speaking of your teammates, who's the funniest on the team?
Oh, that's a loaded question. Funniest on the team. I'm gonna have to go with Reese Smolik, captain. He's a funny guy. He likes to keep things light in the locker room. He's a funny guy.
Now, besides yourself, who has the best style on the team?
I don't think I'd put myself in the top 5, but I'll have to go Julian Napravnik. He's got some pretty good style. So, I'd throw a bone in for Cade Borchardt too. He's got good off ice style. His on ice style is pretty good too, but his off ice style, he brings some drip to the game. So,
now, if you could have lunch with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
I'd probably go Sidney Crosby. He's been a pretty good role model for me growing up, just playing the game of hockey and as a person. So I'd like to get as much out of a lunch from him as possible.
I would like to talk to Alex Ovechkin just because he's a great hockey player, so you can get a lot out of from him, but he's also like a really cool guy off the ice. Like he's had some interesting moments, so it would be like a cool all-around experience for me.
Yeah, that'd be a good one too. You can't really go wrong with either of those guys for sure.
Definitely. Now back to some hockey questions. What advice would you give a younger player trying to pursue a Division I college hockey scholarship?
I would say just focus on what you can control. You can't control who comes to watch your games or scouts your games. You can control your effort and your attitude every single day and your drive to get better. And I think if you just focus on things that you can control, then things will work out for you in the end. Coaches, scouts, they always find the good players wherever they're at. You don't need to go and look for them. So if you just focus on your game and the things that you do well and things that you can get better at, then you should be in good shape.
Now, what message do you have for all the Minnesota State fans that are listening to this podcast? Because obviously they haven't been able to go to the games this season.
That's a good question. We appreciate your support from afar. I know, like I said, the fans are such an integral part of our success. So we know people are rooting for us, even though they might not be able to get to the games. But we're doing our best, and we're doing our best for you guys because we know you guys are supporting us from afar. So thank you for all your support, and we're going to try and go get them this weekend. And, yeah.
Now, what could I do better as an interviewer to improve this podcast and make this platform better?
I think you did a great job. It was you asked questions from all over. So I think that's as good as you can get it. It was pretty laid back, nothing too crazy. It wasn't like you were just hammering me with questions or anything. It was pretty laid back and relaxed. So I think you did a great job, and I'm just glad you shot me a message to get on. So
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on. Do you have any shout outs you'd like to give before we end this to any of your teammates, family members, or friends?
I'll shout out my grandparents. I haven't seen them in a while, so miss you guys. Love you. Hope you're doing well. Staying safe during COVID. I talk to them once a week, but just a quick shout out to them. Love them a lot, so hope they're doing well.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Ryan. I really appreciate it. Take care, and I wish you all the best for the rest of the season. I'll definitely try to promote you and your team in the future.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Take care.